Hello and welcome to Smitty's. I am a wood cutting fanatic who loves to run a chainsaw. I run alcohol chainsaws, ported chainsaws, I race chainsaws, and I even run the occasional vintage. Now remember, I cannot do this without you. You're everything to the channel, so please remember, subscribe, give that thumbs up, leave that comment. Today, we are going to have a lot of fun. So how you doing? Hey, so if you've seen in the previous video on the 50, we were having some issues with chip clearing. Basically, the chips were getting clogged up in the clutch cover and preventing us to, from being able to expel them fast enough. And then they were getting chewed back up into the chain, making the chain get really tight and basically slowing us down through the cut. You know what I mean? Those chips that we're making, we need to be able to get rid of them as fast as we make them, and we were having some issues with that. So I went ahead and made a couple of modifications here, and we're going to give it a test. Basically, I just took the clutch cover and gutted it. So as you can see, all the chain brake parts are gone. All the little brackets and flaps and things to brace this and make it a little stiffer, they're all gone. Everything. So we're going to try this and see what happens. Now, if you're curious about doing this yourself, all you do is take it apart right here, basically, get the flag off, remove all the parts, and the only thing you put back in is the spring. And there's like a metal bracket in here. I left that in, and then the spring. So I basically just removed everything else and put her back together. That's it. She's gutted. Hopefully that'll give us a little more space there to help get rid of chips as we create them. I need it to work really well for about 3 cuts. So as long as we can get it to go through 3 cuts, you know what I mean, with a good amount of speed, then that's what we're going to do. That's what we're looking for. So what do you say we take it out, give it a test run, and see what happens? Alrighty. Before we get started, I'm going to show you around. We've got plenty of snow. She's sitting at about 15 degrees today. Kind of a nice view in the winter. So she's sitting at about 15 degrees today. Now, I've had the wood stove running in the shop since yesterday. Now, of course, it kind of burned out overnight, but I had enough hot coals to keep it going this morning. So I got her stoked back up this morning, and it's probably noonish right now. So being 15 outside, I'd say it's probably about 25 or so in the shop right now. The building is still leaking a tremendous amount of air, and we'll get to it. I put a blower on the wood stove. So basically what I'm doing is I'm basically blowing the warm air across my work area so that I don't freeze my, you know what I mean, off while I'm working. So that's how I'm getting through it. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the shop right now, though. Maybe an hour or so, and I might do that 2 or 3 times throughout the day. So yeah, it's just impossible to keep her warm. But it'll get better in time. It will. It's just going to take some time to get things ready. But how about enough of my jabber, and let's move on to this saw. Now I want you to remember one thing. Usually after you build a few of the same saw, you kind of get a feel for how you want them to run and how, the kind of numbers you like. Well, this is my first one of these. So I can kind of tell some things I would change if I did another one. But, she runs pretty good as is. But what do you say? Let's give her a run. And yeah, we still haven't done a timing advance. So that might be our next step. I always save timing advances for the very final step, and I think that might be where we're at. So let's see how this clutch cover works, and I think it'll work. But let's make a couple of cuts here. Now, this wood is going to be as frozen can be. We've been at single digits in the teens, highs of like 21 or 22 or something like that. So we've been like that for like 2 weeks now. So I guarantee you this wood is as frozen as it's going to be. So what do you say? Let's see what she does. Alrighty, so the chain is, yeah, pretty horrible. It looks like I might have snagged a rock the last time I ran it. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on sharpening it up, and then I'll bring you back in for more testing. Alrighty. Alright, so I got the chain all sharpened up, and I set the rakers, but I set the rakers a little deeper than I normally would. They're every bit of 35 thousandths right now, possibly 40. The reason is because this chain is past the halfway point on the tooth, and basically what my plan here is set the raker a little deeper, and over time, as I sharpen the chain, I'm hoping to hit like a sweet spot where I really like it. And as soon as I hit that sweet spot, I'm just gonna pull the chain off right then and there, throw it on the wall, and then I'll just save it for the future for any competitions or whatever that, you know, I already have a chain set up exactly the way I like it for the saw. That way I don't have to worry about fooling around at the last minute. You know what I mean? I'll have this chain hanging on the wall, dialed in, that I just got to throw it on and go with it. So that's kind of what you're seeing here. Is the chain does have a bit more deeper of a raker than I would normally run. So we're just going to slowly work it, sneaking up to the sweet spot, if you know what I mean. So what do you say we get on with this and get some cutting done? Alrighty. Alrighty, so yeah, she did pretty freaking good. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's pulling that chain out well. I don't have a raker case that would tell me exactly where they're set, but I can tell you it definitely is pulling that chain a lot better than I thought it would. I bet you I could take it to like a 3/8 chain if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. It's pulling the RPM down a little bit. So, you know, I think one sharpening or so probably would find the sweet spot of this chain. So, you know what I mean? It's probably what's going to happen. So I'm going to have to prepare myself to put a new chain on it, because I'm pretty certain, you know, I'll run this chain for a little bit, and then I bet you once I sharpen it one more time, we'll see the RPM of the saw come up a little bit because the chain's not pulling so hard, and she'll probably do a little better. And that'll probably be the sweet spot. So I'm gonna have to work to get another chain for this saw, that we can continue with. But for now, I think we're going to leave it as is. It does pretty good on this poplar. It would probably cut out too, but it definitely more of a softer wood chain. How'd you like the little mountain of wood chips she's spitting out? But with all that cutting, she didn't show any signs of clogging up on chips. So I think the modifications that I made there in the clutch cover are just going to work out just fine. Just needed to get all those extra parts and pieces in there out of the way. And she did. She just plowed right through it. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed this little one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.